I'm here with you tonight. I know you're lying there in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of another sleepless night pressing down on your chest. I know you've already looked at the clock more times than you can count, watching the minutes slip away, feeling that familiar knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach as you calculate how many hours of sleep you might still get if you could just drift off right now. I know you're tired. So deeply tired. Not just tired in your body, though your bones ache with exhaustion. You're tired in your soul. Tired of fighting your own mind every single night. Tired of the racing thoughts that won't stop spinning. Tired of the worry that keeps circling back no matter how many times you try to push it away. And I know that on your nightstand, or maybe in your medicine cabinet just a few steps away, there's that bottle. The one you've come to depend on. The one that promises relief, promises sleep, promises a few hours of peace from the relentless chatter in your mind. Maybe you've already taken it tonight. Maybe you're lying there waiting for it to work, hoping it will pull you under into that darkness where you don't have to think anymore, where you don't have to worry, where you don't have to be awake with all these feelings you don't know how to handle. Or maybe you're still debating. Maybe you're telling yourself you should be stronger than this. You should be able to sleep on your own. You should be able to pray your way through this without needing pharmaceutical help. Maybe there's a voice in your head, quiet but persistent, telling you that good Christians shouldn't need pills to sleep. That if your faith was strong enough, you'd be able to surrender these anxieties to God and drift off peacefully like a child. Maybe you feel guilty. Maybe you feel ashamed. Maybe you feel like you're failing at something as basic and natural as sleep. I want you to know something tonight, right here in this moment, in this darkness, in this struggle. God sees you, not the version of you that you wish you were, not the strong, unshakable, perfectly faithful version you think you should be. He sees you exactly as you are right now, exhausted, anxious, holding that bottle in your hand or staring at it from across the room, wondering if you're weak, wondering if you're broken, wondering if this will ever get easier. And he doesn't turn away from you. He doesn't shake his head in disappointment. He doesn't compare you to other people who seem to sleep peacefully every night without help. He sees the full truth of your struggle, the depth of your weariness, the weight you've been carrying. And he moves closer to you, not with judgment, with compassion. Outside your window, the world is quiet. Most people are sleeping now, their minds at rest, their bodies surrendered to the natural rhythm of night. But you're here, in this in-between space, this lonely space, where the night feels endless and the darkness feels heavy. The house is still. Maybe you can hear the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, or the soft tick of a clock somewhere in another room. Maybe there's the distant sound of a car passing on the street outside. These small sounds that become so loud in the silence of insomnia. You've been here before, too many times. You know this landscape of sleeplessness too well. The way time moves differently when you can't sleep. The way 5 minutes can feel like an hour. The way your mind latches onto worries and spins them into catastrophes. The way your body feels simultaneously exhausted and wired. Like every nerve is humming with a tension you can't release. You've tried everything, haven't you? You've tried all the sleep hygiene advice. No screens before bed. A cool, dark room. Chamomile tea. Meditation apps. Breathing exercises. You've tried reading until your eyes blur. You've tried praying the rosary, counting each bead like counting sheep. You've tried staying up later, hoping that deeper exhaustion will finally pull you under. You've tried going to bed earlier, trying to catch sleep before the anxiety sets in. And some nights, maybe some of it helps, but most nights, you end up right here, right back in this same place of desperation and weariness, reaching for the only thing that seems to reliably work. That little pill that promises to quiet your mind, to soften the sharp edges of your thoughts, to pull you down into sleep, whether your body is ready or not. Maybe you've been taking it for years now. Maybe it started as a temporary solution during a particularly stressful season, and somehow temporary became permanent. Maybe you've tried to stop, tried to wean yourself off, only to lie awake for hours in miserable alertness, watching the clock tick toward dawn, realizing you're going to face tomorrow on zero sleep. And so you started taking it again, feeling defeated, feeling dependent, feeling like you've lost some battle you can't even fully name. Or maybe you only take it sometimes. Maybe you try to tough it out most nights, try to prove to yourself that you don't need it, that you're strong enough to handle insomnia on your own. But then come the nights when you're so exhausted you can't think straight, when you have something important tomorrow and you absolutely have to sleep, when the anxiety is so overwhelming that you know you won't rest without help. And so you take it, but with guilt, with a sense of failure, with shame that you couldn't be stronger, couldn't be better, couldn't be enough on your own. I need you to hear this tonight. Listen closely. Even if your mind is foggy, even if your thoughts are scattered, needing help to sleep does not make you weak. It does not make you less faithful. It does not mean you failed God or failed yourself. It means you're human. It means you're carrying weight that your nervous system was never designed to carry alone. It means you're doing the best you can with the body and brain you have, in the circumstances you're facing. God knows about insomnia. He created you with a nervous system that can become dysregulated. He understands that trauma, that stress, that hormonal changes, that the accumulated weight of years of worry and responsibility can rewire the way your brain handles sleep. He knows that sometimes the body needs intervention. He knows that sometimes prayer alone isn't enough to reset a nervous system that's stuck in fight or flight mode. He's not surprised by your need. He's not disappointed in your dependence. Think about it this way. If you were diabetic, you wouldn't feel guilty about taking insulin. If you had high blood pressure, you wouldn't shame yourself for needing medication to regulate it. Your brain is an organ, just like your pancreas or your heart, and sometimes it needs support. Sometimes the chemicals that regulate sleep get out of balance. Sometimes the neural pathways that should lead to rest get disrupted. And when that happens, medical intervention isn't a failure of faith. It's wisdom. It's self-care. It's accepting the help that's available in this season of your life. Jesus healed people through many different means. Sometimes he spoke a word and healing happened instantly. Sometimes he touched them. Sometimes he used mud and spit. Sometimes he sent them to wash in a pool. He never limited himself to one method. He met people's needs in the way that was right for them, in their specific situation, in their specific moment. And God is still meeting people's needs today through many different means. Through prayer, yes. Through faith, absolutely. But also through medicine, through therapy, through doctors and researchers and pharmaceutical interventions that can restore what's been lost, that can regulate what's become dysregulated. You don't have to choose between faith and medication. They're not opposites. They're not in competition. You can take your medicine and still pray. You can swallow that pill and still trust God. You can need pharmaceutical help to sleep and still be deeply loved, fully accepted, completely held by your Creator. Right now, in this moment, I want you to take a slow breath with me. Breathe in slowly through your nose, filling your lungs with air. Hold it for just a moment, and then release it slowly through your mouth, letting your shoulders drop, letting some of that tension begin to flow out of your body. We're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to make sleep happen through willpower. We're just acknowledging that you're here, that you're struggling, and that God is here with you in it. Let's invite Him into this moment together. Not as a distant judge evaluating whether you're handling things correctly. Not as a stern taskmaster expecting you to push through on faith alone, but as a tender presence, as a comforting father who sees his exhausted daughter and simply wants to help her rest. God, I bring you this dear soul tonight. She's so tired. You see how tired she is. You see the weight she's carrying. You see the nights she's suffered through, staring into the darkness, mind racing with worries she can't control. You see the guilt she feels about needing help to sleep, You see the shame she carries, the sense that she should be stronger, should be different, should be more. And God, I ask that you would speak truth into her heart tonight. Truth that cuts through the lies she's been telling herself. Truth that displaces the shame. Truth that brings peace where there's been only anxiety. Tell her that you're not disappointed in her. Tell her that you see her struggle and you have compassion, not criticism. Tell her that her worth isn't determined by whether she can sleep naturally or whether she needs medication. Tell her that you love her exactly as she is, in this moment, with all her limitations and all her needs. Maybe you grew up in a faith tradition that taught you to be suspicious of psychology, of psychiatry, of mental health interventions. Maybe you heard messages that suggested that if you just had enough faith, if you just prayed hard enough, if you just trusted God more fully, you wouldn't have these struggles. Maybe you've internalized the idea that mental health issues are really just spiritual issues, and that needing medication means you're not relying on God properly. If that's the case, I need to tell you something that might be hard to hear at first, but I promise it's true. Those messages were wrong. They were well-meaning, perhaps, but they were wrong. They created a false dichotomy between faith and medicine. They added shame to suffering. They made people feel guilty for having real, physical, neurological issues that have medical solutions. God is the creator of all things. He's the creator of the plants and compounds from which medicines are made. He's the one who gave human beings the intelligence to study the brain, to understand sleep cycles, to develop interventions that can help. When a doctor prescribes you medication that helps you sleep, that's not separate from God's provision. That's part of how He's choosing to care for you. That's one of the means by which He's answering your prayers for rest. You've probably prayed so many times for God to help you sleep. You've probably begged Him night after night to take away your insomnia, to quiet your mind, to give you the gift of natural, peaceful rest. And maybe you felt like He wasn't answering. Maybe you felt abandoned, wondering why God would heal other people's sleep problems but not yours. Maybe you've wondered what you did wrong, why you're not worthy of that particular miracle. But what if He has been answering? What if the existence of sleep medication is part of His answer? What if the doctor who prescribed it to you was an instrument of His care? What if He's been providing for you all along, but not in the way you expected, not in the way you thought He should? God's provision doesn't always look the way we think it should. The Israelites wandering in the desert expected to go straight to the promised land. Instead, God fed them with manna every single day for 40 years. It wasn't what they expected. It required daily dependence, but it was provision. It was care. It was God meeting their need in the way He chose, in His wisdom, for their specific journey. Your medication might be your manna. It might be God's chosen way of providing for you in this season. It might be the daily provision that sustains you, that allows you to rest, that gives you the sleep you need to function, to love your family, to do your work, to live your life. And there's no shame in that. There's no failure in that. There's only gratitude for a God who meets us where we are and gives us what we need. Take another slow breath with me. Feel your body against the mattress. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow. Feel the blanket over you, the softness of your sheets. You're lying down. You're in a safe place. You're not in danger, even though your nervous system might be sending you signals that you are. Your racing heart, your restless thoughts, the tension in your muscles. These aren't necessarily signs of real threat. They're just signals from a nervous system that's been overworked, overstressed, pushed beyond its capacity for too long. Your body has been trying so hard to protect you. That's what anxiety is, at its core. It's your body's alarm system trying to keep you safe. But sometimes the alarm gets stuck in the on position. Sometimes it keeps blaring even when there's no fire, no intruder, no immediate danger. And you can't just turn it off through willpower. You can't just pray it away. Sometimes you need help resetting the system. Sometimes you need medication to turn down the volume on that alarm so your body can finally rest. God understands this. He created your nervous system. He knows how it works, how it can get dysregulated, how it can need support. He's not asking you to heal yourself through faith alone. He's offering you multiple pathways to healing, to rest, to peace. And one of those pathways might be the medication you take. That's okay. That's more than okay. That's good. I wonder what specific worries are circling in your mind right now. Is it worry about tomorrow? About all the things you have to do? All the ways you have to show up? All the energy you'll need that you're afraid you won't have because you're not sleeping well enough tonight? Are you calculating hours again, thinking, if I fall asleep right now, I'll get 5 hours. If I can fall asleep in the next 20 minutes, I'll at least get 4.5. Or maybe it's deeper worries. Worries about your health, about your aging body, about what all these sleepless nights are doing to you long term. Worries about your relationships, about whether you're failing the people who depend on you because you're always so exhausted. Worries about your future, about whether things will ever get better, or whether you're doomed to fight this battle every single night for the rest of your life. Maybe there are specific people you're worried about. Your children, even if they're grown, your grandchildren, your spouse, your parents, your friends, people you love who are facing struggles of their own, and you lie awake feeling their pain, wanting to fix things you can't fix, wanting to protect people you can't protect. Or maybe it's not specific worries at all. Maybe it's just a vague, nameless dread, a sense that something is wrong, that you're not okay, that life is harder than you can handle. Maybe your mind just feels chaotic, thoughts tumbling over each other with no clear narrative, just a general sense of unease that won't let you rest. Whatever it is that's keeping you awake tonight, I want you to imagine handing it to God, not in some abstract, theoretical way, but actually, literally, in this moment. Picture yourself holding whatever it is, the worry, the fear, the chaos, the dread. Picture yourself holding it in your hands like a heavy stone. Feel the weight of it. Acknowledge how exhausting it is to carry. And now picture God's hands, reaching out toward you. Strong hands, gentle hands, hands that are big enough to hold whatever you're carrying. Hands that won't drop it, won't minimize it, won't tell you it's not as heavy as you think it is. He knows exactly how heavy it is, and he's strong enough to carry it for you. Place it in his hands. Let yourself release your grip. Let your fingers unfurl. Let the weight transfer from you to him. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. You don't have to solve every problem. You don't have to have answers for all the questions that are swirling in your mind. You just have to let go. Just for tonight. Just for these next few hours. Let him hold what you've been holding. God, I ask that you would take these burdens from her, everything she's been carrying, everything that's been stealing her sleep, everything that's been weighing on her heart and mind. You're strong enough, you're big enough, you care deeply enough. Take these worries from her hands and hold them yourself. Let her experience what it feels like to have empty hands, unburdened hands, hands that don't have to grip so tightly to control everything. And in place of the worries, give her peace. Not just the absence of anxiety, but the positive presence of your peace. The peace that doesn't make logical sense given her circumstances. The peace that surpasses understanding. The peace that can coexist with unsolved problems and unanswered questions. The peace that says, you're going to be okay. I've got you. You can rest now. I know that part of what makes nighttime so hard is the loneliness of it. During the day, there are distractions. There are people around. There are tasks to do, conversations to have, things to focus on that keep your mind occupied. But at night, when the world goes quiet, when everyone else is asleep, the loneliness can feel overwhelming. You're alone with your thoughts, alone with your fears, alone with your exhaustion, but you're not actually alone. I know it feels that way. I know the darkness can feel isolating, but God is here with you. Not in some distant theological sense, not just as an abstract concept or a religious idea, but actually here, present in this room, present in this moment, present with you in your wakefulness, in your struggle, in your need. The psalmist wrote, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you." Even here, in this dark room, in this sleepless night, God is with you. The darkness doesn't hide you from Him. Your insomnia doesn't distance you from Him. Your need for medication doesn't disqualify you from His presence. He's right here, closer than your next breath, nearer than your own heartbeat. Can you feel Him? Not with your physical senses, maybe, but with your spirit. There's a presence here that's larger than your anxiety, a peace that's deeper than your worry, a love that's stronger than your shame. It's surrounding you right now. It's holding you, even as you lie in your bed struggling to sleep. You're being held, you're being seen, you're being loved, and God is not in a hurry. He's not impatient with you. He's not frustrated that you're still awake, still struggling, still needing help. He's not checking his watch, wondering when you're going to get it together. He's simply here, present with you, for as long as you need him to be. All night, if necessary. He's not going anywhere. He won't fall asleep on you. He won't get tired of your neediness. He's the God who never slumbers or sleeps. And he's using his wakefulness to watch over you, to care for you, to be with you in your wakefulness. Maybe part of what's keeping you awake is the pressure to sleep. The anxiety about not sleeping creates its own vicious cycle, doesn't it? You need to sleep, so you try to sleep. But trying to sleep makes you more anxious, which makes it harder to sleep, which makes you more anxious. And round it goes. The pressure builds. The stakes feel higher with every passing minute, and your body tenses up more instead of relaxing. What if, just for tonight, we took the pressure off? What if it's okay if you don't sleep? What if lying here resting, even if you're awake, is still giving your body what it needs? What if God can restore you and refresh you, even if you never fully drift off into sleep? What if the goal isn't to achieve unconsciousness, but just to be here, in this moment, in God's presence, letting his peace wash over you whether sleep comes or not? Sleep is a gift, but so is rest. And rest doesn't always mean sleep. Sometimes rest means stopping the fight, stopping the effort, stopping the striving, just being still, just being present, just letting yourself be held by God in this moment, without worrying about whether you're doing it right, whether it's working, whether you'll sleep enough. Maybe the medication will help you sleep tonight. Maybe it won't work as well as you hope. Maybe you'll drift in and out, caught in that frustrating in-between state where you're not fully awake but not fully asleep either. Maybe you'll finally fall asleep just an hour before you have to wake up. Or maybe, by some grace, you'll sink into deep, restful sleep soon and wake up feeling more refreshed than you have in a long time. Whatever happens, it's going to be okay. God will meet you in it. If you sleep, he'll watch over your sleep and give you rest. If you don't sleep, he'll sustain you through tomorrow anyway. He'll give you the strength you need for whatever the day brings. He's been doing that all along, hasn't he? All those days you've faced on minimal sleep. Somehow you've made it through. Somehow you've found the strength to keep going. That wasn't just you pushing through on willpower. That was God giving you grace, holding you up, providing what you needed even when you felt like you had nothing left. He'll do it again tomorrow if he needs to. But for tonight, let's just focus on this moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, not whether this insomnia will ever fully resolve. Just right now, just this breath, just this moment of being held by God in the darkness. Let your body soften a little bit. You don't have to do it all at once. Just let one part of you relax slightly. Maybe your jaw. Are you clenching your teeth? Let your mouth fall open just a little. Let your tongue rest soft in your mouth. Feel the tension in your jaw release. Or maybe your shoulders. Are they up by your ears? Let them drop. Let them fall back against the bed. Feel the weight of them being supported by the mattress instead of being held up by your own muscles. Or maybe your hands. Are you making fists? Are your fingers curled tight? Let them uncurl. Let your palms open. Let your hands rest soft and loose on the bed beside you or on top of the blanket. You don't have to relax everything at once. Just one small part. Just one tiny release. That's all God is asking of you right now. One small step toward rest. One small letting go. As you do that, as you let even one part of your body soften, I want you to know that God is pleased with you. Not because you're performing well, not because you're doing this perfectly, but just because you're His daughter, and He loves you, and He's glad you're here, glad you're trying, glad you're letting Him in even a little bit. He doesn't need you to be strong right now. He doesn't need you to have it all together. He doesn't need you to sleep perfectly or feel peaceful instantly. He just wants you to know that you're safe with Him, that you can stop performing, stop striving, stop trying to earn your way into His care. You already have it. You've always had it. It's not based on your ability to sleep or your ability to manage your anxiety or your ability to do anything. It's based on His love. And His love is unchanging, unshakable, not dependent on your performance. You are loved tonight, exactly as you are. Awake, anxious, exhausted, medicated, struggling. You are completely, fully, unconditionally loved. There is nothing you could do to make God love you more. And there's nothing you could do, including taking sleep medication, including struggling with insomnia, including feeling like a failure, that could make Him love you less. Let that truth sink deeper than your worry, deeper than your guilt, deeper than your shame. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. And because you are loved, you can rest. Not because you've earned it, not because you've figured everything out, not because you're strong enough or faithful enough or good enough, but because you're loved, and love creates safety, and in safety, we can finally let go. I'm praying for your mind right now. I'm asking God to quiet the noise, to turn down the volume on the racing thoughts, to bring order to the chaos, to take the tangled mess of worries and fears and anxieties and begin to gently untangle them, one thread at a time, until your mind feels clearer, calmer, more peaceful. I'm praying for your body, for your nervous system that's been working so hard, that's been on high alert for so long. I'm asking God to help it downregulate, to help it shift out of fight or flight mode and into rest and restore mode. I'm praying that the medication, if you've taken it, would do its work effectively and gently, that it would support your body's natural processes, that it would help you find the sleep you need without harsh side effects or grogginess tomorrow. I'm praying for your heart, for the emotional burden you've been carrying, for the sadness underneath the anxiety, for the grief and the disappointment and the weariness that goes so much deeper than just not being able to sleep. I'm asking God to minister to those deep places in you, to bring healing to the wounds that no one else can see, to comfort you in the ways you need most. God sees the whole picture of your life. He sees the reasons why sleep has become so difficult. He sees the stress you've been under, the responsibilities you've been carrying, the losses you've endured, the transitions you've navigated, the ways your body has changed as you've gotten older. He sees the hormonal shifts, the chemical imbalances, the neural pathways that have gotten stuck in unhelpful patterns. He sees the trauma, whether from major events or from the accumulated smaller hurts that add up over time. He sees all of it, and He has compassion for you. You haven't done anything wrong by ending up here, struggling like this. This isn't punishment. This isn't a consequence of insufficient faith. This isn't God teaching you a lesson or testing you or trying to make you stronger. Sometimes our bodies just struggle. Sometimes the systems that should work smoothly get disrupted. Sometimes we need help, and that's okay. That's being human. That's what it means to live in a broken world in breakable bodies. But even in the brokenness, even in the struggle, God is present. He's not absent from your suffering. He's in it with you. He entered into human suffering himself when Jesus came to earth. He knows what it's like to be exhausted. He knows what it's like to feel overwhelmed. He knows what it's like to cry out in the darkness, feeling alone, feeling abandoned, feeling like things are too hard to bear. And he doesn't just sympathize from a distance. He enters in, he comes close, he sits with you in the darkness. He stays with you through the long night. He holds you when you can't hold yourself together anymore. Picture him here with you now, however you imagine him, as a father figure, as Jesus, as a presence of light, as a feeling of peace. Picture him close to you, maybe sitting on the edge of your bed, maybe standing beside you, maybe surrounding you like a warm embrace. He's here, and he's not going anywhere. What would he say to you if you could hear his voice clearly right now? I believe he'd say something like this: "My dear one, I see how hard you've been trying. I see how much effort you've put into managing this, into fighting this, into trying to be strong enough to overcome it on your own. And I'm telling you that you can stop trying so hard. You can let me carry this for you. You don't have to be strong enough. I'm strong enough for both of us." I know you feel guilty about needing medication. I know you feel like you should be able to handle this through faith alone. But I gave you medicine as a gift. I gave you doctors and researchers and pharmaceutical interventions as tools to help my people. Using those tools doesn't diminish your faith. It demonstrates wisdom. It shows that you're willing to accept help in whatever form it comes. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm not comparing you to other people who sleep easily. I see you, in your specific situation, with your specific struggles, and I love you exactly as you are. You don't have to change to be worthy of my love. You don't have to overcome this to be acceptable to me. You're already acceptable. You're already beloved. You're already mine. So tonight, I want you to stop fighting for just a little while. Stop trying to make sleep happen. Stop pressuring yourself. Stop feeling guilty. Just be here with me. Just let me love you. Just let me hold you. Let me give you whatever rest is possible tonight, in whatever form it comes, whether that's deep sleep, or just a quiet mind, or simply a sense of peace in the midst of the struggle. You're going to be okay. I promise you that. This season of struggle won't last forever. Things will shift. Healing will come. But even if it takes longer than you want, even if you have to walk this road for a while yet, I'll be with you every step. I'll give you what you need. I'll sustain you. I'll never abandon you to face this alone. Rest now, or at least stop fighting. Let your body be heavy on the bed. Let your thoughts slow down, even just a little. Let my peace wash over you like water, like oil, like a soft blanket covering you. You're safe. You're loved. You can let go now. Can you receive those words? Can you let them touch the deep places in you that have been so afraid, so guilty, so ashamed? God is speaking truth over you right now. Truth that displaces the lies. Truth that brings light into the dark places. Truth that sets you free from the pressure you've been putting on yourself. You don't have to sleep perfectly to be okay. You don't have to manage your anxiety flawlessly to be loved. You don't have to overcome your need for medication to be faithful. You are already okay. You are already loved. You are already held in the grip of a God who will never let you go. Breathe that in. Literally breathe it in. As you inhale, imagine breathing in God's peace, God's love, God's acceptance. As you exhale, imagine releasing the tension, the worry, the guilt, the pressure. Inhale peace. Exhale anxiety. Inhale love. Exhale shame. Inhale acceptance. Exhale the pressure to be different than you are. Do that a few more times, slowly. There's no rush. There's nowhere you have to be. Nothing you have to do. Just be here, breathing, present in this moment with God. As you continue breathing, I want to speak some truth over you. Some declarations that counter the lies you might have been believing. You are not weak for needing help. Needing help is human. Everyone needs help with something. Your particular need for help with sleep doesn't say anything negative about you. It just means you're navigating a challenge, and you're wise enough to use the resources available to you. You are not failing God by taking medication. God is not keeping score, checking off marks against you every time you swallow a pill. He's cheering you on for taking care of yourself, for accepting help, for doing what you need to do to function and thrive. You are not less spiritual than people who sleep easily. Spirituality isn't measured by how well your body functions. It's measured by your heart toward God, your willingness to trust Him, your desire to know Him. And you're demonstrating all of those things by inviting Him into this struggle, by being honest with Him about your needs, by seeking His presence in the midst of your difficulty. You are not alone, even though it feels lonely in the quiet of the night. Even though everyone else seems to be sleeping peacefully while you lie awake, you are not alone. God is with you. And there are countless other women lying awake right now too, facing their own battles with insomnia, feeling their own guilt about needing help. You're part of a huge, invisible community of people who struggle with sleep. You're not isolated in this, even though it feels that way. You are not doomed to feel this way forever. Things can change. Things will change. Maybe not overnight, maybe not as quickly as you want, but you're not stuck in this forever. There's hope, there's help, there's healing available to you, in God's timing, in God's way. You are loved right now, exactly as you are. Not the future version of you who might sleep better, not the past version of you who didn't struggle like this. The current you, the tired you, the anxious you, the medicated you. This version of you is completely loved by God. Let those truths settle over you. Let them sink in beneath the layers of negative thoughts and self-criticism. Let them be louder than the condemning voices. Let them be more real than the shame. You know, there's a beautiful moment in the Gospels when Jesus is in a boat with his disciples and a storm comes up. The waves are crashing over the boat. The disciples are terrified, certain they're about to drown, and Jesus is asleep in the back of the boat. They wake him up, panicked, and he stands up and speaks to the storm. Peace, be still. And immediately the wind dies down and the water becomes calm. But before he calms the storm, he asks them a question. Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? I used to read that story and feel condemned by it. Like Jesus was criticizing them for being afraid, like he was disappointed in their lack of faith. But I've come to see it differently. I think he was genuinely asking them a question, inviting them to examine why they were so afraid when he was right there with them in the boat. They were afraid because they forgot who was with them. They looked at the storm and forgot about the storm calmer. They focused on the waves and forgot about the one who has authority over wind and water. And I wonder if sometimes we do the same thing with our anxiety, with our insomnia. We look at the struggle and we forget who's with us in it. We focus on the sleeplessness and forget about the God who watches over us, who sustains us, who gives rest to his beloved even in the midst of difficult circumstances. The storm might not calm immediately. The insomnia might not resolve tonight. But Jesus is still in the boat with you, and his presence changes everything, even when the circumstances don't change yet. What would it look like to trust him in the middle of this storm? Not to trust that he'll instantly fix everything, but to trust that he's with you in it. To trust that he'll give you what you need to get through it. To trust that even if you don't sleep well tonight, he'll sustain you tomorrow. To trust that he's working something good even in this difficult season, that he hasn't abandoned you, that he sees you and cares for you and is actively involved in your life. That kind of trust doesn't mean you stop taking your medication. It doesn't mean you stop seeking help. It doesn't mean you pretend everything is fine when it's not. It just means you stop white-knuckling your way through alone. It means you acknowledge that Jesus is in the boat with you. And that makes all the difference. Your breathing has probably slowed down a bit by now. That's good. That's your body beginning to shift, even if just slightly, toward a more restful state. Keep breathing slowly and deeply. Let each breath be a little prayer. Inhale, God, I trust you. Exhale, I let go. As you breathe, imagine God's peace like a soft light, starting at the top of your head and slowly moving down through your body. It touches your forehead, and the tension there softens. It moves to your eyes, and they feel heavier, more relaxed. It flows over your cheeks, your jaw, your neck. Each part of you that it touches becomes a little softer, a little calmer, a little more at rest. The light continues down through your shoulders, releasing the tightness there, down your arms to your hands, uncurling your fingers, warming your palms, through your chest, your lungs, your heart, bringing a sense of ease and openness, through your stomach, releasing the knots of anxiety, through your back, letting go of the tension you've been carrying there, down through your hips, your legs, your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes, every part of you being touched by God's peaceful presence, every part of you being invited to soften, to let go, to rest. You might not feel this perfectly. You might still notice areas of tension, thoughts that keep intruding, worries that won't quite let go. That's okay. This isn't about achieving some perfect state of relaxation. It's just about inviting God's peace in and noticing where it might be landing, even in small ways. Maybe your body is starting to feel heavier. That's a good sign. That's your body beginning to prepare for sleep. Or maybe you just feel a tiny bit calmer than you did when you first lay down tonight. That's good too. Any movement toward peace, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. You've been fighting so hard for so long. You've been trying to control this, to fix this, to overcome this through sheer force of will. And I want to give you permission to stop fighting, at least for tonight. You don't have to conquer your insomnia right now. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be strong. You can be weak. You can be needy. You can be dependent. That's not only okay, that's actually the posture that allows God to work most powerfully in your life. The Apostle Paul wrote about his struggle with what he called a thorn in the flesh. We don't know exactly what it was, but it was something that plagued him, something he desperately wanted God to remove. He prayed 3 times for God to take it away, and God's response was, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." God didn't remove the thorn, but he promised his grace would be enough. His power would be present precisely in Paul's weakness, not in spite of it. Maybe your insomnia is your thorn in the flesh. Maybe God hasn't removed it yet for reasons you don't fully understand, but his grace is sufficient. His power is being perfected in your weakness. Every night that you need medication, every night that you struggle, every night that you have to lean on him because you can't do it on your own, those are the nights when his power shows up most clearly in your life. You're not disqualified by your weakness. You're not disadvantaged by your need. You're actually in the exact right position to experience God's power and grace in ways that people who don't struggle like this might never know. There's a gift hidden in this struggle, even though I know it doesn't feel like a gift most of the time. The gift is intimacy with God. The gift is learning to depend on him in deeper ways. The gift is discovering that he really does show up, that he really is faithful, that he really can be trusted even when things don't resolve the way you want them to. People who never struggle sometimes never discover how strong God is because they never need his strength. People who never feel weak sometimes never discover how sufficient his grace is because they never need it desperately enough to notice. But You're discovering things about God that only come through struggle. You're learning truths about His faithfulness that only emerge in the darkness. That doesn't mean the struggle is enjoyable. It doesn't mean you should be grateful for insomnia or pretend you don't wish things were different. But it does mean that even in this hard thing, even in this exhausting season, God is present and active and doing something meaningful in your life. He's teaching you about surrender, about letting go of control, about accepting help, about being honest about your needs, about extending grace to yourself, about trusting Him in circumstances you can't fix. These are profound spiritual lessons that many people never learn because they never face circumstances that force them to. So even tonight, as you lie here struggling to sleep, God is with you in it, working something good, teaching you something true, drawing you closer to Himself through the very thing that feels like it's keeping you from Him. Your eyes might be getting heavier now, or maybe they're not. Maybe you're still wide awake, mind still racing despite everything we've prayed and talked about. That's okay. We're not trying to force anything. We're just creating space for God to work, for your body to relax, for sleep to come if and when it's ready. If sleep doesn't come right away, that's not a failure. This time you've spent in God's presence. This time you've spent releasing your burdens to Him. This time you've spent letting truth speak louder than shame. None of this has been wasted. Even if you don't sleep perfectly tonight, you've experienced something valuable. You've practiced surrender. You've invited God in. You've chosen to stop fighting alone. That matters. And if you do sleep, even if it's with the help of medication, receive that sleep as a gift from God. Don't let any guilt creep in about how the sleep came. Just receive it gratefully. Let yourself rest fully. Let yourself sink into unconsciousness without second-guessing whether it counts or whether it's real rest if it required pharmaceutical help. It counts. It's real. It's good. God is not grading your sleep on some scale where natural sleep gets an A and medicated sleep gets a C. Rest is rest. Sleep is sleep. And He wants you to have it, however it comes to you. As we begin to bring this prayer to a close, I want to leave you with a few more truths to hold on to. Tonight, right now, in this moment, you are exactly where God wants you to be. Not because this struggle is what He wants for you, but because wherever you are, He is with you, and His presence makes every place sacred, even your bed in the middle of a sleepless night. You are not alone in the darkness. God is here. His love surrounds you. His peace is available to you. His strength is holding you up, even when you feel like you have nothing left. Tomorrow will have enough grace for tomorrow. You don't have to worry about how you'll function on minimal sleep. God will provide what you need when you need it. He always has. He always will. This season of struggle won't last forever. Nothing does. Things will shift. Change will come. Healing is possible. Hope is real. Don't give up. And most importantly, you are loved. Completely, unconditionally, eternally loved by a God who sees every sleepless night, who counts every tear, who knows every worry, and who has never once turned away from you in disappointment or frustration. He looks at you with tenderness and compassion and unwavering affection. He's proud of you for how hard you're trying. He's honored that you keep turning to Him even when things are hard. He delights in you, not because of what you do or don't accomplish, but simply because you're His. So rest now, or at least stop fighting. Let your body be heavy on the bed. Let your mind begin to quiet, even if it's just a little. Let God's presence surround you like a warm blanket, like a gentle embrace, like a soft lullaby. You don't have to do anything else tonight. You don't have to be anything else. You can simply be here, held by God, loved by God, cared for by God. And that is more than enough. May God grant you sleep tonight. Deep, restorative, healing sleep. May your body find the rest it so desperately needs. May your mind finally quiet. May your anxieties fade into the background. May you wake tomorrow feeling more refreshed than you have in a long time. But even if that doesn't happen exactly the way you hope, may you experience God's peace that surpasses understanding. May you know in the deepest part of yourself that you're okay, that you're loved, that you're held. May you trust that God is with you and will give you exactly what you need for whatever tomorrow brings. Sleep well, dear one. Or if sleep is slow in coming, rest well in God's presence. You're going to be okay. God's got you. You can let go now. Tonight, you are held. Tonight, you are loved. Tonight, you can rest. Amen.